Finding this individual wasn't going to be easy. On a planet of billions of people, the chances were just incredibly slim, but we did have theorists working hard on the problem that helped to narrow down the search. By our estimates, we had to assume that this person lived in, or at least close to, our city, the same city where the time machine stayed, because for this to be their universe, they had to at some point use the machine. We could rule out anyone who was unlikely to ever even access the machine, because if they couldn't, this couldn't be their universe. Subsequently, this person, in all likelihood, had already used the machine for this to be their universe, because to all outside eyes and perspectives, nothing would ever change. This person would have used the machine at some point in the future, or already had in their timeline, and gone back to relive their 2.5 years without anyone, at least on a large scale, being aware. Our world was never going to change when this person travelled back, only their world, their perspective on the world would. This is around the time we started referring to ourselves as insignificant universal inhabitants, and this other person that we sought desperately to discover as the primary universal owner. Our goal in finding the primary was twofold. Firstly, we wanted to learn from this person, know who they were, what kind of human they'd made themselves into, all in the hopes of answering why. Why this person was special enough to own this universe, to have their individuality proven against everyone else's. Would it have anything to do with the kind of person they were, or would it be entirely random that the rest of us billions just happen to be living in their universe and not our own universe out there somewhere for the same random reason? I knew that the latter was likely true, but it didn't really matter. The second reason I hoped so desperately to find this person was much simpler. Closure. Just knowing that this person existed without knowing who and what and why they were ate away at me and at my fellow inhabitants. And if by some cosmic decision I didn't deserve to experience my own unique universe, then I would ensure I at least deserved to know who did here. These were the goals that I shared with all of you, and that I believe you all shared with me. Of course, once the inhabitant movement grew to numbers that I couldn't comprehend, there were inevitably going to be others who shared different goals. Some of you treated the primary like a religious figure worthy of worship and prayer to solve all your problems. Others among you believed the primary was infinitely unknowable, that such a person shouldn't or perhaps even couldn't actually exist and never would, and that the machine was an extraterrestrial device made to remind us of our own cosmic insignificance. The darkest of you, those that I tried to distance myself from as much as possible, believed that by finding and executing the primary, you might inherit the mantle of primary yourself and would finally be able to travel back with this spiritual title. All of these beliefs aside, I knew the chances of discovering the primary were incredibly slim. Our best hope was that this person would learn of our search for them and come forward of their own volition, but given the growing expectations around this person, I began to doubt they ever would. Many tried, of course, fakes claiming that they were the primary, but they were all easily disproven, unable to provide logically sound explanations of the future they'd return from. But beyond putting out frequent, urgent calls for the true primary to reveal themselves, and our many expectations and sub-followings growing, there was little else we could do.